Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Criterion Connection. I'm Wade,
And I'm Joe.
and this is the first show of 2021, or second show because we're filming two episodes this week because we recorded this episode of Ghost Dog last week. It was supposed to come out last week, but yeah, the audio just didn't record for some reason, so we have to re-record it. Our discussion of Ghost Dog. So if it seems like we're breezing through some things, because we discussed this in length already.
Also, if you notice that we have the same outfits in 2 consecutive episodes.
Exactly. Also, I don't know which one's going to air first. But yeah, this is a funny story where, we've been talking about doing Ghost Dog for months, and then it wasn't available digitally, and then I was like, okay, you bought it on Amazon. I bought on Amazon Prime early December. 2-day shipping became 27-day shipping, and I finally got Ghost Dog. So here we are. We're going to talk about Ghost Dog, starring Forest Whitaker, directed by Jim Jarmusch.
If anything, we will get the monkey off of Wade's back.
Yes. Let me get my notes real quick.
Well, Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai is the full title. It is a movie where we follow a character named Ghost Dog. We don't know his real name. Played by Forest Whitaker, who is a hitman who is obsessed with living by the code of the samurai.
Yes.
Reading the Hagakure throughout the whole movie. Is very much influenced by the honor that the old Japanese samurai lived by, and basically that's we learned that's how he ended up in the mob, as a tangential, like a hitman for the mob.
Yes.
This guy named Louis saved him from getting beat up and killed, and he interprets it as owing a life debt to Louis, and basically says, I'm your samurai, I'm your vessel, whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And I will, I won't give you any disrespect. I will do exactly what you asked me to do.
Yeah. So basically the whole plot of the movie is he does a job for Louis, a hit. The hit doesn't go the way it wants, and it gets to the point where the mom's like, we gotta off Ghost Dog, and that's the plot of the movie in a nutshell, and Ghost Dog's like, no. And, he retaliates. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I love the beginning of the movie. It gives you the day in the life of Ghost Dog before things, it all culminates to when, he does the hits. So the day, and then at the end of the day, he does the hit.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to see how he lives. He lives very peacefully. He's reading a lot of, he's reading a book, so it means he's educated. He's got scripture all over the walls. He's got a picture of a woman. Could be his sister. Could be his wife who died. It could be his mother.
Yeah,
Could be,
we don't know.
Or it could just be the picture of when you buy a picture frame, there's always like a default picture. Could be that too.
Could be.
But also he has like a SMG on the table, so he's violent. He has peace and he's educated, but he can get down with the violence if he has to.
Yeah, he's a very large, intimidating person. Yeah. And we forgot to mention the pigeons, which is a big thing. He lives up on top of a roof in a shack, and he cares for a bunch of pigeons, one of which he uses as a carrier pigeon.
Also, a good way to tell he lives there is because his place is full of bird poop.
Yes.
There's a lot of bird poop on his walls.
Yeah.
On the exterior walls, not the interior. That'd be weird if the interior walls had bird poop on them.
Would be.
Yeah. But yeah, also, we have some great performances. Forest Whitaker's great. He's very very quiet. He doesn't say his first word in world, in the actual movie. He does the proverbs, but in the actual world and present time, he says his first words 37 minutes in.
He's stoic.
Yeah,
is the word.
Yeah.
He tends to keep to himself. And his only friend is a French-speaking ice cream man, and he ends up meeting this little girl who is a very avid reader, and so he kind of like she kind of repeats what her mother says about him, like the legend of Ghost Dog, basically that he has no friends and that he's a scary guy or whatever. And he says, I got a friend, and he points out the ice cream guy and basically challenges her to read a particular book and then come back and tell him what she thinks.
Yeah. Rashomon.
Yeah.
The book was Rashomon.
Yeah. And
which we talked about on Criterion Connection, the Rashomon movie.
We have.
You should check that out.
Yeah, check that out. But we see when he passes different people in the community, they all show him
There's like Crips,
respect.
There's like Crips and Bloods. So there's
well, there's gang members that we can assume that are all dressed in red.
Yeah.
And then we have a group of guys that are dressed in blue. It's not. I mean,
it's
implied that these are rival gangs in the same area.
Yeah.
But they both give props to Ghost Dog.
Also, random RZA in the camo, just like, respect. Because I guess they're kind of the same. Like they're they're on different paths, but they're the same kind of person. It seems. If you think that Forrest Whitaker is the most important character in the film, you gotta think the second most important character, or the most important character, is RZA and his music.
Yeah, in a way, yeah, you can say that. So
it paints the tone of the movie, in my opinion.
The movie gives lots of open space sonically for RZA to set the mood, to set kind of really communicate just kind of he goes for the lo-fi chill vibes, the calm but still dangerous, because he's using hip-hop, things like Wu-Tang Clan and I can't remember one of the other acts that he uses songs from, but he also creates his own beats and uses them as soundscapes.
Yeah, he mixes a little bit like some Japanese music in there too. Like,
yeah, you've got the jazz, you've got the new hip hop, gangster rap hip hop that he was a part of. You've got Japanese influences, which has always been prevalent in RZA and his work. And it really does set kind of the tones, and it fills those gaps with the music, and really it I don't know, it's hard. It's like the glue of the movie.
So the mob. We gotta talk about the mob and how they're very interesting characters. They're very interesting because you think the mob, you think they're very scary. They're respected around the neighborhood, and then you see just some kid in a window throw stuff at Louis. Like, there's some kid throwing at this guy should be respected, but I guess you find out Louis is not really that respected by his peers. But like, you get, what was it, Frank? He's the one that loves like Flava Flav, Public Enemy. You got the really racist guy with the cane, and then you have, oh god, what's his name? The main the boss guy is just like, they're like kind of like his face is like painted on his own face,
right?
Just like they're all weird characters,
and they're very quirky.
Yes,
I think is what you're getting at.
Yeah, they're very quirky for mob characters, and also not many of them are intimidating.
Yeah, so we started off thinking they're intimidating, but Jim Jarmusch kind of pulls the rug out from under us by giving us these guys who aren't respected in the neighborhood. They aren't super successful. They're meeting in the back of like a restaurant. There's
actually a deleted scene where they're meeting with an accountant because they're like, the accountant's like, you might want to think about bankruptcy and stuff like that. So they're not doing good.
Yeah, the other real big clue is when they meet up before going to the castle that's for sale. But they're in that meetup, and the guy comes by and says, "Guys, you're like three months past rent. Like, you need to give us some money. Aren't you guys supposed to be running some kind of operation?"
Also, when Ben gets shot, he's like, I feel like a real gangster.
Yeah.
Like they're obviously it's interesting, and it also like it's one of those things like they're not an over villainous group.
Right.
And you see Ghost Dog because you think Ghost Dog. It's not about Ghost Dog. Can he overcome them? It's how this will all turn out because you know he's going to overcome these bumbling idiots. I mean, it's fun. Like Jim Jarmusch posted like because the supplements have like this Q&A, and they mentioned about cartoons. The mobsters are watching a lot of cartoons.
Yeah, all the big mobsters.
Yeah.
Love cartoons.
And it could be like the idea of, you know, because in the movie they're kind of like cartoon characters and react. Maybe they're trying to say that like mob characters because of Goodfellas and The Godfather. Maybe they're just like caricatures now.
Mm-hmm.
They're just characters like cartoon characters. And I love how like those cartoons always mimic something like know he's looking at the Woody Woodpecker. He's looking at the Woodpecker in the show Woody Woodpecker cartoon. When Ben's there dying in the car, the daughter's watching Itchy and Scratchy. Like I think it's like I don't know what episode it was like that's like a rest in peace grave thing. The pipe for that great sink headshots.
Yeah,
which was huge reaction on me.
But
cool. Like they showed in the cartoon the guy shooting through a pipe.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it was when he was doing he was rapping Public Enemy,
right?
Which is amazing.
Yeah, we have one mobster that's obsessed with Public Enemy,
which you wouldn't think he would be.
Yeah,
you think he'd all be about like Dean Martin and the Rat Pack and stuff. No, he's very into hip hop.
Yeah, we find that out when Louis tells him he only knows Ghost Dog by Ghost Dog. And it's like it's just like an adopted name, and then like they just don't understand until like the guy's like, oh, like kind of like a rap name, like Flavor Flav.
I love that Flavor Flav.
Yeah, it's things like that give you like those little chuckle moments.
Yeah,
and then also like
how also passenger pigeon.
Yeah, how effective Forrest Whitaker is, because Louis, does not want to take out Ghost Dog.
Yeah.
He's like, Ghost Dog is the best that I know of. He's like, he's perfect in every contract I give him. He's a professional, dude.
But he also has a code.
Right, he gets held to it by his superiors.
And then Ghost Dog mentions it like he's talking to sorry, I forget his name, the French ice cream man.
Mm-hmm.
Raymond, that's his name. Yeah. He says that we're part of ancient tribes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like that's very interesting, and the idea of that's why I think like that it's very kind of like poetic that he's friends with someone that he can't speak with.
Right.
It's the idea of like you're meshing two people, two different like cultures and language together.
Mm-hmm.
Can they mesh? It's kind of like you're trying to put hip hop culture and samurai and mobster movies. Can they coexist? Can they mesh together? This movie proves they can, like the genres can. Maybe, and also that Raymond and also stuff like the boat on the roof. Yeah. It's like one of those things like they don't understand that, but to that guy building the boat, he understands it completely.
Yeah, and they want the best for him.
But they don't. The idea wise, they don't click. They don't understand each other. But they understand that he's doing his thing.
Right.
It's actually a very like kind of like. It's a movie that makes you feel kind of good. I mean, it's
heartwarming.
It's heartwarming
that they can reach across barriers that generally separate us.
Yes.
You're dealing with cultures, and like they don't understand each other's language. Like they don't know like Raymond doesn't really speak English, and Ghost Dog doesn't speak French.
Yeah.
But they're best friends, because it's a vibes thing. It's how you treat people, how you give somebody respect, and like Jim Jarmusch again, like he's able to put in those little chuckle moments where you've got one guy saying like, oh, by the way, like here's a suit, it's probably too big. You can take it to the Haitian guys and they can trim it up for you.
Yeah.
And then Raymond gets the suit. And he's like, oh, wow, thanks. This is a great suit. It's a little bit big. He's like, but of those Haitian guys up the road, like they repeat what each other is saying in their in their own language.
Yeah.
And it just shows how they do connect for real.
I do love also it has a interesting structure of the story. It's actually for 2 hours. It's pretty well structured. Like around like the hour mark, the second act mark, he's dealing with it's the big shootout.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the big shootouts at the end, the big like I mean of course they sprinkle it in like a John Woo movie. They sprinkle it in here and there. But like the biggest climatic scene is like this big shootout that's one-sided, very one-sided. And then he deals with the boss, but then we're dealing with the sub-boss near the end. There's not many movies that deal with that. The only one I can think of is like Drive, and then he's dealing with like the not even close to the sub-boss.
Yeah.
Like the joke
but
of the group.
It's also the emotional weight.
And
he's not as emotionally invested in the big boss, which is the big, climactic big shootout. And then he goes after the guy who likes Flavor Flav. And that's kind of personal because that's the guy who forced the issue and he knew who he was. Remember when he talks with Louis, he's like, how do you know so much about our organization? Ghost Dog knows that guy. Yeah. And he has a vendetta against him.
They also have a great shot of like him just standing on the corner and then Frank, the sub boss, drives by. Has that great RZA score with it. It's so, and they're just staring off at each other. It's great.
And it's obvious Ghost Dog knows him, but he doesn't know Ghost Dog. Yeah. And then Louis, the emotional climax is the standoff with Louis. Yeah. Because that's the personal. Yeah.
It's very
the personal issue.
Connection.
Yeah.
It's very. It's kind of a deconstruction of these movies if you think about it. There's also like stuff like the samurai stuff. The lone wanderer. The idea of like the ghost town idea because the place it's an undisclosed city. Mm-hmm. Very kind of you see like in the beginning you see like there's like a lot of boarded up like stores. It's very kind of ghost townish. You have the lone wolf and cub idea with the girl. Stuff like that. Just like, there's so many elements to this. It's a really good movie. I really enjoyed it a lot. I think it also is the best way to deal with bear hunters. Yeah. Yeah. Because screw them. Also, that one scene, I guess, before we close out and say if we recommend it, is one of my favorite scenes is when Ghost Dog's walking and he sees like this guy about to rob this guy carrying groceries. And like, he's gonna Ghost Dog's gonna go and stop this guy, and then the guy in the groceries drops his groceries and does a roundhouse kick and does like some karate, Muay Thai, whatever kind of fighting style to this guy, and the guy just walks away like hurt, and then Ghost Dog's like, and then just walks away, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's hilarious. So Joe, we haven't really discussed like if we like the movie or not, so let's just do it right now. Would you recommend Ghost Dog: The Way of the Samurai to the audience?
I would. I really like the movie. I think it's one of the best ones of Jim Jarmusch has done. I'd seen it years ago, and it's one of those movies that you kind of catch randomly one day and then like can never either think of it, or when you do think of it, you can't find it. So I would highly recommend people that if you are interested, watch it somehow. But if you want to get it, go get the Criterion movie right now, because that DVD was hard to find.
Well, I will also recommend it. I'll go even further. Don't watch it somewhere else. Just go buy it. I'm going to say I bought it, and it's 100% worth it. We are not sponsored by Criterion Collection.
I really wish we were.
But if Criterion, if you're watching it,
I really wish we were.
But yeah, this has great supplements as because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Most of it is just Zoom interviews. They do a Zoom interview with it's Forrest Whitaker and Isaac, the guy who plays Raymond. I don't want to butcher his name. But like they do like a great like kind of Q&A with them. Jim Jarmusch does a Q&A that's an hour and a half of him just answering questions. Some of what's his favorite Wu-Tang song, stuff like that. There's a great thing, I think it's called Flying Dog. Flying Birds. It's called Flying Birds. Sorry, not Flying Dog. Flying Birds. It has just RZA talking for 15 minutes about how he met Jim Jarmusch and details of like how he made the music and what vibes he was getting for each single piece. Supplements are worth it. The movie's worth it. It's great transfer. Great restoration.
Mm-hmm.
So
And if you
good.
can find the soundtrack, get the soundtrack.
Yeah. So I'd say buy it. Screw it. Just buy it. Don't even try finding it online because I don't think you can really. And if you do, it's
That's
like pirating.
true. We did,
so don't pirate.
We did put a lot of effort into trying to find it, and we couldn't.
Yeah.
So,
and we only search. By the way, for future reference, we only search legal ways on watching things. We don't pirate. We don't do anything like that. If it's not on any digital platform, we're probably not going to watch it. We're probably going to have to watch it physical.
mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So that's our thoughts on Ghost Dog, The Way of Samurai. Let us know in the comment section below what you think of the film. What's another Jim Jarmusch movie we have done? We've done a lot of them. I think we don't have many left.
Yeah, we did.
Mystery Train. I think it's Down by Law.
Yeah, I think that's it.
There's not many left, so let us know in the comment section below. What's another film that's like Ghost Dog? You know what? Third ounce of samurai movies there. We've done a couple of them. We've done a couple of Kurosawas. Throw more down there. Screw it. Just recommend stuff. Anything. Suggestions. We're still taking suggestions. Follow us on, subscribe, share. Follow us on Instagram, Condish Productions. Follow us. Check out Letterboxd. We have a list called Criterion Connection. All our movies that we've watched on there. How many have you watched? We'll see. So until next time, I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And we will see you later.